The Coffee Gang on Hot 93.3 Lagos.
There's a lot of security issues in the country presently, and there's the agitation from, Nnamdi Kanu's point, that's IPOB, and then there's Sunday Igboho in the West. And then, of course, there's the, is it ISWAP these days, or is it Boko Haram, whatever it is that's happening in the North. Seeing that he has, he was in defense at some point, how do you think you intend to tackle insecurity?
Thank you very much. The first thing is that he is equipped to do it. You know, the one thing I always say when we talk is that we need someone with capacity, you understand, but also someone who has the political will to get things done. And that is Kwankwaso. And that is why he could never have won primaries in a major party. I always say it everywhere. That is because his fellow senators and governors or whatever know that he is a no-nonsense person and that he bats and fights on behalf of the poor and on behalf of the working classes in the country. Now, there's a difference between the terrorists and those who are agitating for nationalism. You understand? And in that view, let me throw a stone. I keep praying that Peter Obi will go to Anambra State to go and campaign. You understand? He should start from there so that we know that he's brought the IPOP people to realize, because that's part of the problem. Some people will tell you when they're looking at it, I don't want people to start throwing stones at me.
But Kwankwaso has not campaigned in Lagos yet.
He comes to Lagos all the time.
In Kano, sorry. He has not campaigned in Kano.
He was in Kano.
No, he goes to Kano, but he has not campaigned in Kano. If you're saying, because I saw this conversation on social media. Yes.
One, campaigns hadn't started.
Yes.
Kwankwaso was in Kano last week.
Peter Obi has been in Anambra as well, but he has not campaigned.
I was just saying I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
To open offices, you understand, in some local governments. He did that on his way to, he went to Kaduna, you understand, on his way back, and we see the crowds, even last, was it yesterday, day before yesterday?
The day before yesterday in Jos.
One of the senatorial candidates in Kano South. You should have seen the crowd. So there's no doubt about that.
But you don't think it's the same crowd? The same crowd that goes to support Mr. A goes to support Mr. B?
No.
Because these days...
Said that to me. Hang on. Someone said that to me. Do you know the people who benefit from that? That is the two older parties or oldest parties. Because I tell you, let the PDP people start throwing stones and the APC people. They don't have any campaign without paying their people to turn up.
And you're sure of that because?
Because I was a member of the PDP, I was a member of the APC. Forget it. I'm not saying Obi does it. But when you see any red cap person anywhere, they are his people. And Kwankwaso, he's a funny man.
He's also a red cap person.
Yes, that's white and red. Those are our colors. When he comes, if he's coming to Lagos, he will not send you a penny. He won't say, Ladipo, take money for mobilization. Never. He wants to know how weak you are or how strong you are. If he comes to you and you only have 20 people to turn up, that is Lagos. That's the picture. You understand? So, all that shifting, okay, let's move up. Let's bust them to Nasarawa. Let's bust them to... It doesn't happen.
Right?
Hello, good morning.
It doesn't happen.
Hello, good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah. My name is Cyril.
All right, welcome, Cyril. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question I want to ask the spokesman of the NPC.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. First question I want to ask. Is there anywhere you see red card or whatever? So that's where they throw money and all of that. And according
No,
that
that wasn't what he said.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
He said when that PDP and APC, when you have gatherings, that they pay people to do, they pay people for the gathering.
Mobilization.
With all due respect, sir, do you want to tell me that your presidential candidate, which is Dr. Raju Kwankwaso, was a part of these people because he was a part of this PDP member and APC. So do you want to tell me that he was a part of these people, or those people who do to throw money for them to get gathering?
Thank you.
All right.
The second question.
All right.
Yeah, another question I want to ask you, because you mentioned education. And for my own layman research that I've gone through, I noticed that the rate of illiterate and poverty, if you go to North, the rate is very, very high than any other state or any other region in Nigeria.
Okay.
And it's come to my understanding that the Northerners have been taking their share of our people for a very long time. And they are still having people living in poverty. They are still having people being uneducated. So do you want to tell me if Kwankwaso becomes our president, that it will make any difference than what the past president refused to take care of the people education, remove people from poverty in that region?
All right.
So please, I want you to answer me this question. My name is Cyril. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Do you remember the first question?
Well, if I fail to, you
I would remind you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cyril. Firstly, you said the northern region. You didn't say Kano. He ruled Kano for 8 years.
But is Kano good educationally?
Kano is much better. All you need to do, Cyril, go online, check Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and check what he did in education for the girl child, from ensuring that the girl child started to go to school, from removing almajiris from the street, from educating, training people. Once you had a first class, you understand, he established so many institutions, training colleges, 2 universities, and everything during his time. The scholarships he gave, once you had a first class, even if you were an Igbo girl in Kano, you'd be sent abroad for your master's or PhD. He did that. He spent so much on education. Now, Cyril, the question is not where he left the education in Kano. Your question should be, where did it begin? Before you start comparing the North to the South vis-a-vis the person or the people you are looking at, right? Tell us, where did Tinubu meet education in Lagos? Where did he leave it? Where did Kwankwaso meet education in Kano? And where did he leave it? That is the parameter. Not that where are they now. Now, when you say abject poverty, the whole of Nigeria is in abject poverty. It's even very difficult to start saying that in northern Nigeria now, that whatever. Do you know how many Nigerians live below the poverty line? So we have that problem. Now, to the first question, and that is that he was a part of the PDP, just like Peter Obi was a part of the PDP, just like Ladipo Johnson was a part of the PDP and part of the APC.
So are you now saying...
Hang on.
Wait.
Yeah? Am I saying what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go on.
Are you now saying now that you're no longer part of the PDP or APC?
No, I mean the NNPP.
All right.
No one is saying he's a saint or anyone is a saint.
All right, so we still have that question unanswered,
So
but
yes.
we'll have another call.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This
All
is Bola from Mayor.
Welcome, Bola. What question do you have for Mr. Ladipo Johnson?
First and foremost, what I want to ask is that what did you have for Nigeria as a whole? Because I understand that most times during the election or before the election, when the campaign is being conducted, they've not been able to meet Nigerians' demands. Because most times, once come out the manifesto, something pop up along the line that will make them just see whatever they've come to tell us. And also I'd like to put it in front that why is it that most times when they come out with the manifestos during the campaign, they don't stick to that manifestos. Something come up along the line that will not let them that will not allow them or enable them to fulfill their promises. But that's been the point of contention.
All right.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's what I want to know.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Bola. All right, so back to that question before you get onto this.
Yes,
the question about being a part of
being a part of a corrupt system and trying to fix it.
You go into politics, there are existing parties. You go into those existing parties, and most times you do not excel there unless you are really, really, really into it. I told you when Kwankwaso was on the board of the NDDC, he resigned. Go and find out. It's there. He resigned and said, no, this is the sharp practices are too much. We don't want it. So everyone is there. You can decide. I'm not saying everyone in PDP is bad. Neither am I saying everyone in APC is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying everyone that has moved out, anyone in Labour or anyone in NMPP is an angel or a saint. I'm not saying that. You understand? I would never say that, But to what Bolahan has said.
Yes.
Bolahan, there are two ways to it. One is either they make unrealistic promises that are not feasible. You understand? They promise heaven and earth, and they know it is impossible. Someone told us not even 5 years ago, some 7 years ago, that it will be 1 naira to $1. It's there. So, and people saw that. And in the euphoria of the moment, people supported, people made noises and everything, and we are where we are at today. The other one is that there are some things that happen naturally. For instance, look at the pandemic. The pandemic came, bound to affect the economy, affected the entire world. But what you look at is you look at the competence of your government. How did they react to it? How did they adjust? How is the economy faring? Things like that. So these are the things that, as much as possible, that determine
that might affect
promises with manifestos and whatever. But what I assure you of is regarding the new Nigeria People's Party, Kwankwaso's manifesto, you will see when it is released, we'll discuss it extensively because no one is perfect. No group of people are perfect. And you keep learning from, I like a phrase he used, I think it was Cyril, that the yearnings, the people, what the people require. And as I said earlier, what we require today might be different from what we require in 4 years' time. But you will find that manifesto is going to be realistic. And what we intend to do, what we are attacking, is we want to make sure that the economy recovers and we grow it from bottom up.
Not from top to bottom?
Not top to bottom.
Okay.
We want to, because we believe that the medium and small scale businessmen in this country are the highest employers of labor, as we all know. And it is important that they get help and that the environment is friendly so that the hardworking Nigerian, especially the hardworking Nigerian youth, we believe that the youth are hardworking. You understand?
Yeah.
But the society is stacked or stashed against them. We have to open these things up. We make it possible for Nigerians and the youth especially to be able to trade, to do business, to set up businesses, come together. Look, you have a problem. We say we have a problem with the Yahoo boys or what have you. Why is it that no government has done or gone far enough to ensure that the skills that they have and many others have, that we do not turn Nigeria into the ICT hub of West Africa or Africa? You understand?
Yeah.
So this manifesto is going to generate a lot of heat. A lot of you are going to come to us and say, what are you saying? It's never been done. But that is the manifesto Kwankwaso is bringing out.
Hello, good morning.
Okay. Morning. Once again, morning. It's Cyril that called back, please.
Okay,
All right,
go
welcome
ahead.
back, Cyril.
Yeah, sorry. I have another question I want to ask you, sir.
Oh, God, Cyril, you won't punch me today.
Based on your analysis, sir.
All right, go ahead.
You just said that the reason why our people, as in our politicians, do not really fulfill their promises is because some of the promises are not possible. You know, some of the things they say they are going to do for is not possible to fulfill them. Now, you now use a pandemic as a comparison and all of that. I want you to break it down a little bit to us, sir. When you say some of these promises are not possible to do it, in what way? Do you want to tell me that our country is not buoyant enough for our politicians to have turned $1 to equal to $1? Or do you want to tell me that when somebody comes out and tell me that serious, if you vote in, I'm going to give you life, I'm going to give you medical care and education. Do you want to tell me that our country, Nigeria, is not, our economy is not enough for those promises to be made?
All right.
I want you to break it down to our layman understanding, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Once again.
What I was saying was that, look, at the time people are putting together, you see, Nigeria is not, we're not there yet. Overseas, the moment you become a candidate, they open the books of government.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, welcome.
Good morning, uncles, and good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, yeah. My name is Umar. I'm calling you from First Start.
All right, Umar, you're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Well, I can, to the extent, I can agree with the guest. Because I just want to say something, but, politicians move from one place to the other. But, the one thing I can agree with him is, I know what, I'm from the north, actually, precisely from Kaduna.
Okay.
Yes. And I work in Lagos. I had a lot of colleagues. Well, Kwankwaso actually did something a lot in education sector.
At some point, he had free education in Kano in 2014.
At all levels.
Yes.
Yes. Because you can verify, it's a verifiable evidence. I know a lot of pilots. I know a lot of medical doctors. Even here in Nimasa, if you go FIRS, you see a lot of people that Kwankwaso sent out of the country for for graduate and graduate, a lot of things. He has done a lot. But one thing I noticed, I don't know whether it's in him, he actually have this kind. So I want to ask this guest that why is it very difficult for Kwankwaso to accept that I brought up this guy as a politician, I build him up, but why is it difficult for Kwankwaso to accept that since I'm not in power, this is the man in power, let me allow him to do the best he can do, even though I nurtured him. Like what happened between him and the
Ganduje.
Yes. So, and why is it difficult for Kwankwaso to accept that, yes, this can, let me give this guy a free ride, let him operate freely without actually intervening into his government, or even though I nurtured him. But actually, let me confess, Kwankwaso is a good man. He has a lot of agenda in him. And he's actually, to the extent, he's not corrupt. And he helped not. In fact, he's one that opened eyes in the northern Nigeria that anybody that is in government, he has to do more than what his predecessors do. Because he has done a lot. So for Ganduje to be accepted in Kano, he has to make sure he has done more than what Kwankwaso did. And actually, it's a trend. And I agree with him. And actually, I commend him, actually.
All right,
so,
thank you.
Question of allowing somebody that you brought up, that you nurtured, to have a free ride, let him do what he feels like he can do.
All right, Umar. Now that question, and it takes me back to what you said initially, that Kwankwaso has a lot of, he has been through a lot of things, and it's not going to be good for him to be Obi's vice.
I'm not saying it's not going to be good.
Okay.
I'm saying that, sorry, I'm just cutting in
here. Yes, please.
What actually happened?
What?
Forget Obi and Kwankwaso.
Yes.
The supporters themselves would not have allowed it.
Okay. So it's not about Kwankwaso alone. Okay, now Obi. Umar asked the question, why is it difficult for Kwankwaso to allow the people he has trained?
My brother Umar, thank God, I was already with Kwankwaso towards the end of his gubernatorial tenure.
That's the second term.
Yeah, the second term. I was already with him. I believe that from the moment, I know I'm going to create more trouble, from the moment Ganduje got the nomination, and from the moment he was sworn in, he was already a free man. You understand? Kwankwaso did not even go. I remember, I think he didn't even go for the swearing in because he has a cult-like followership in the north, especially Kano. And he said, I remember, I was in Kano. He said, I'm not going, Ladipo, because the new governor let him have, you understand?
So what happened?
What happened was that Ganduje started on his path. And Uma, you see, your answer is in your assessment of Ganduje's 8 years. If you assess that as he had his free hand, he did better than Kwankwaso or did well, then you are right in saying maybe Kwankwaso didn't want to leave him or what have you. It's as simple as that. But I will tell you that from where I was sitting or standing, which is not totally inside, you understand, I'm not from Kano, I don't speak Hausa. I saw that from the conversations around me, I saw that, yes, he had, he wanted to do things his own way, and they left him. Now, in leaving him, you cannot tell Kwankwaso that because you've been governor 8 years, and because someone else is there, you cannot participate in politics, especially when you have your Kwankwasia movement, and you have people in the House of Assembly, House of Reps, Senate, and what have you. So he still has to participate in politics. And politics is about coming together. If they do not feel that the person piloting the, what do you pilot? The plane at that time, or driving the vehicle at that time, is going in the right direction, then they have the right to say, oh, let's
good morning.
Come against him again.
All right, good morning. Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Chris.
All right, welcome, Chris. Where are you calling from?
All
right, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to agree with the man in the studio that the obedience would never allow Obi to play second fiddle to anybody in this country.
Exactly.
Because Obi is unique. Obi has a message. Obi is visionary. Obi is competent. He has capacity. Obi is it's like the beacon of the Nigerian youth, and it's actually to the place that wanted to lead us to.
I understand
so Obi is our choice.
Okay, so but do you have a question?
Do you have a question for him as well?
I don't have any question.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
I have this question.
We have another caller. Hello, good morning.
All right, please make sure.
No,
you
I wanted to
back.
ask this question. It's important, most especially in the southeast. There's a situation going on about the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is not supposed to still be in jail, and there's a point where they're saying Sunday Igboho is supposed to come back to the country because they're fighting a cause, and according to these people, they're not terrorists. We'll say Kwankwaso becomes president of the country. How do you think he's going to handle this situation?
Well, I think I wanted to say I can't speak for him, but
you're a spokesperson.
I'm a spokesperson, but not when it comes to something this specific.
Okay.
Look, it's like with the manifesto. It depends on a lot of things. You understand? If you have agitations, which is normal in a democracy, you have agitations, then government must address those agitations. You as well must give government time to address those agitations. Certain things don't happen overnight. You understand? So there's no one fooling anyone. If I have something I've brought to your table, and you say, wait, and I see within a year, 2 years, nothing is happening, I'll know that you're fooling me. You get what I'm saying? So I know that what we have planned for the country will see each area, each region, and in fact, to the locality, I'm letting the cat out of the bag here, we'll see them having access. What is Kwankwasia about? You know, we've been talking about education.
Yeah.
The basic thing, because people always ask me, this is your Kwankwasia, what is it about? And I always say, well, it's difficult to define. But basically, it is about access. Access if everybody has access to healthcare, access to education, access to this, access to that, there is more equity within the system. If there's equity within the system, then one region will not feel that they're being, you understand, bullied and whatever by others.
Okay, Nigerians have been clamoring for something called restructuring.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Kwankwasia movement, when elected or if elected president of Nigeria, is going to look into that? And how do you think they're going to deal with that situation?
When?
I said when and if.
No, I'm even answering.
Okay.
You don't know the question. Let me answer.
Okay.
I'm prophesying.
Okay, great.
When Kwankwaso is elected, right, by God's grace, you will find, in fact, from the moment we come up with a manifesto, I'm telling you, I was telling him the other day, and the small committee we had, I said, and he was joking. He says, you are the spokesman. You're going to face the fire.
Yes.
You will see from that manifesto that the issue of restructuring, or whatever word you want to use, because no one can define, there's no one definition for restructuring. What you believe is restructuring might not be what he believes. You understand? So that's the first thing. But the issue of the development and the rights and progress of each area, each region will be addressed, because they will have access to address their issues. I know what I'm saying.
Now,
just give me.
It's a big.
Give us 1 week. You'll see it.
Okay. Now, I would love to see. I hopefully, when it comes out, we can invite you back to the station. Now, I want to say this because I know a lot of people, most especially in the South and in the West, they've always pushed it that whenever it comes to restructuring culture in Nigeria, the North will come and, they'll play dilly-dally with it. And then there is the position of Niger Delta is making a amount of money and the North is not bringing as much.
7 years ago,
yes,
Senator Bola Tinubu helped birth this government. He was one of the people, APC were shouting restructuring. Has he shouted about restructuring in the last 7 years? Has he? He hasn't. So
if he's not doing it, NMPP shouldn't do it.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying you don't have to. You see, for me, there are prejudices in this country. We are all guilty. If you use the R word, the restructuring word in the North, before you even begin to vote, you've lost.
And why is that?
That is because they have their prejudices, as we have our prejudices here in the southern part of the country. So as a politician, you have to understand that even when you are bringing something, what I just want to say to you is that the man in Zamfara will benefit from his gold. And by God's grace, within the four years of Kwankwaso, the man in the southern part of the country, I don't know why we say south-south. Is there anything like south-south? The man in the southern part of the country will stop feeling as if they're using his gas and his oil to his detriment. That is what we're working towards. No one is perfect, but we'll come up with a program that Nigerians will see. If they're broad-minded enough, I'm not abusing Nigerians, to open their minds to it, they will see that, okay, this might be a template to begin to roll back the debt profile of this country. The 7 years we've had, not just 7 years, even before these 7 years, the time we've had of degradation and whatever. We have a lot of work to do. But one thing I have to say is that forget Kwankwaso, forget Obi, forget all of them. It's not about them. It's about us. We the people. We all have a role to play. Because even when you vote them in, we have to make sure that we tell them the truth. We have to keep them on that path, the promises they have made. And someone asked the question about why they cannot hold on to Bolahan also.
Yes.
If you cannot do what you have promised us, tell us the reason why. What has changed and everything. So I think it is important that let's look at it from a democratic democracy as a whole, not any party now. We all have a role to play.
Okay.
You understand?
Oh, wow. I wish we had more time. We would have gone on, but thank you so much for coming to our studios this morning to talk to us about your political party and what you have in stock for Nigeria come 2023. And we look forward to your manifesto. I heard that it's in a week's time.
Yes, within, I think, a week. Latest next week it'll be...
You people are not sure yet. Is it the African time thing?
No, it's not African time. The reason why I say latest is because I've been in Lagos.
Oh, okay.
If I were in Abuja last night, I'd know for certain that on social dates.
One thing I'll give to you, though, you were very early today, so thank you.
Thank you.
We pray that continues as well.
Thank you.
I heard you like your radio just like you like your coffee. The Coffee Gang on Hot 93.3 Lagos.